Alright, this first little video that I'm going to make is basically giving you the overview of this lab. This lab is a little more in depth than what we have been doing for labs. Basically, you've been doing one lab by yourself. You've had a lot of stuff to do, but it's just been you. This one is a little more involved. It's a group lab. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick overview of what's expected from this lab. So we're going to be doing HTML5, CSS, and project management. It involves group work. Like I said, you're going to plan a web page creation using Microsoft Project. Okay, you're going to create the web page. You're going to send me an email when you're done containing the Microsoft Project file and a link to the web page on the server. So what is the scenario? Why are you doing this? What is the purpose of this? Okay, so basically your group is in charge of creating a web page of a new equipment purchase in your library. Okay, you're going to include a request for proposal, an RFP. You're going to include the project plan, and you're also going to describe how you'll bring together all of the information and post it on your web page. So basically your web page is going to be kind of your document that will be used to present to your boss or to the budget committee or something like that. The web page will be basically the consolidation, the high spots of your project plan that you do in Microsoft Project, and then you'll also just kind of highlight some steps that you're going to do, how you're going to allow for each time and for this step and that step. So you're kind of going to duplicate what you do in the project plan on your website. You're using the project plan as kind of like the nitty-gritty nuts and bolts planning stuff, and then you're going to use that to create just kind of the high spots of your project plan and how you're going to pull it all together. You're going to put that actually on your web page. Okay? You're going to turn in both things, the web page and the project plan. Each one of them offers a different kind of view of that information. So who does what in each group? You're going to be in groups of 4, maybe one group of 3. It all depends on how big the class is and things like that. But I'm trying to get it in as small a group as possible, okay? So that y'all can really get to know each other and work well together. So things you want to consider. Who's going to do the entering of the project steps into the project plan? So you might want to have somebody thinking about who wants to do that. Who's going to be doing the coding of the HTML content? Who will be doing the coding of the CSS styling? Okay, and then who will create the RFP or the request for a proposal? And then lastly, have you considered your overall resources? Duration dedicated versus a work hour day. All right, number of resources available. What is the cost of each of your resources? Don't worry about potential costs of your equipment. Just describe how to get the RFP, get bids, decide on bid, purchase, test, train, and implement. Alright, I'm going to do a separate video to show you a little bit about HTML5 and CSS and how you're going to be able to use HTML5 to do some nice stuff on your project presentation web page. So don't worry about that. There's another video for the HTML5 and CSS stuff. Okay, there's also a video that will show you how to use Microsoft Project. So don't worry about having to figure that out. There's a video to help you learn that as well. And then lastly, what is an RFP? Okay, RFP is a request for proposal. Basically, you're just asking vendors. You're sending out a request for vendors to send you their concept of what you told them you wanted. So in the RFP, you'll define parameters of the equipment you want to buy. You'll ask the vendors to provide a proposal for their version, their model, their whatever, and then ultimately how much that from them is going to cost. So what is included, what should you put on that web page write-up? Okay, so here's kind of beginning to end what we want to see on that web page. We want to look at the RFP. Okay, basically give me the high spots of your RFP. What did you want from your vendors? Okay, then you'll get your bids. Well, how long are you going to accept your bids? You're going to have something on your web page that describes how long you're going to allow for those bids. Okay. Then you're going to have on your web page a certain section dedicated to how long you feel is good to decide and discuss the bids that you've received. Okay. Then you'll have a section on there that talks about purchase. When do you expect to purchase? Okay. Then you'll go over testing, training, and implementation. When you look at testing, think about risks that you're wanting to help alleviate. You know, what can you go ahead and test out and prevent problems from happening in the testing phase? How long do you expect the testing phase to last? As far as training, you know, training people how to use this new equipment, how long do you think you'll train? Who will be involved? Okay. Where there'll be any money associated with that if you have to get the vendor to train on the new equipment? Or can you do a free vendor training, train the trainer, and then have the trainer, which would be, you know, someone in your facility, you could have them trained. Maybe you can think about things like that. You'll want to include that on that web page. And then finally, you're going to want to include how you will implement this new stuff. Okay, how long will the implementation take? Who will be involved? Will there be any downtime? Any other risks associated with it? Okay. What's included in the project plan? Well, the project plan is basically the nuts and bolts, step-by-step outline of your planning for the whole project from beginning to end. Well, then you may say, well, Clay, why are we doing a project plan in Microsoft Project and putting this on the web page? Well, the web page is kind of, it gives more information in some parts and then it gives condensed information in others. So if I want to look at the details of how you outline things out, I can look at the project plan. As you'll notice in the project plan in Microsoft Project, you get a Gantt chart. Okay, so looking at that Gantt chart, it'll let me know how you laid things out, if you have any lulls or gaps in time, things like that. Whereas the web page will give me just the whole picture. Okay, it gives me the gist of the whole picture, you know, and so that's why I'm having you do both. And then finally, when is this due? You have 2 weeks to complete this lab, so it'll be due the week of April 9. For the Tuesday class, it'll be April 10, and then for the Thursday class, it'll be due on the 12th.